Got two items of business on the agenda, two letters we received. I think you got copies of both of them. Dear Mayor Higgins, I'm writing on behalf of the residents of Murray Avenue with the Honest Estates who continue to experience the nuisance of heavy trucks hauling fill from the gravel pit quarry operation from Honest Estates at the end of Murray Avenue. As stated in my previous letter, we believe the stone quarry operation violates the intended permitted use. The developer is not building homes in this quarry area, and an injunction to cease quarry activity should be filed by the village, town, and county. These 80,000-pound trucks loaded with stone that exit Murray Avenue are tearing up the road and pose a threat to children in the area. Marcia Matthews has been assisting us and has mentioned that the village and town officials will be in work session to resolve this matter, on resolving this matter. I've attached a photo of the subdivision, phase 2. The subdivision begins with the truck traffic will increase to an unsafe level. In the red, I have marked the path the trucks presently utilize. In green, I have highlighted the path which would remove the trucks from Murray Avenue. The green route is the existing loose stone road built by the developer that should be mandated the construction may be utilized. In addition, I have marked the original entry, second exit from Honest Estates that was located off 207 just north of Sarah Wells Trail in pink. This entrance/exit has not been used in 2 years and blocked off by fill. Apparently, the village planning board entered an agreement with Honest Estates which required Honest to maintain the entrance at 207 when the subdivision begins in 204. What happened to the requirement that expire? Can Honest Estate be ordered to reopen this blocked exit? Look forward to your answers on the proposed work session and action taken by the village board to resolve this matter. Please feel free to call me at your earliest convenience. The number is Dean Cole. Well, as far as the route, the Department of Transportation closed that exit to 207.
Indefinitely?
What?
Indefinitely?
I don't know. I just know they closed it, they told them not to use it. So there's nothing we can do about that. That's because that's their road, 207. So I don't know. We've been looking into, we talked to our engineer about the quarry operations, and since they have a permit to build, they can use that. As I was saying, well, they're not, the quarry says no, but if they have a permit to build, they can use those quarries saying, yeah, we're preparing the land for build. So that's where we are on that. We will talk to them, trying to get them to use that back road. Talk to Joe and try and get trucks to use that back road. But you know, one of the problems is the people in Honest Estates have, you know, they have a delivery or something like that, you know, which they're going to have from time to time, different trucks, gardening trucks, or stonemasons or whoever coming working on those houses could be coming up that road too, and they have every right to come up that road. I'll talk to David tomorrow to see if there's any way, what we can do about it, you know, any way of limiting the while. I'm not sure. The public roads, where we could put a weight limit on them or whatever, I have no idea. But that's my thoughts on the matter. What does everybody else think?
Well, I've been talking to these people for a while. And part of the original approval was for 207 to be approved as the road, and only emergency vehicles were supposed to come up the extension of Murray.
Murray, yeah.
Whatever reason, the Department of Transportation has to close. They may have a right of approval, but I don't know if they have the right to close, since it was part of the original approval.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be my next
okay,
question.
Well, they're staying with that tomorrow. I just assumed that the state always tells us what to do.
No, darn that is the truth.
Isn't that the truth? Yeah.
Without funding it.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, of course not.
However, since that was part of the original approval and the DOT had to sign off on that, I think that what we have to do is, number one, investigate the reason why 207 has not been completed. On top of that, being able to clear, and I know you've investigated this,
well,
being able to clear for
engineers, I'm not going to investigate.
I know. Well, being able to clear for additional building, which they're approved for, is one thing. Quarrying, which is obviously what's going on because there's no reason for that many trucks to be leaving, is quite another. So I think that what we need to do is, number one, have the engineer go up there and facilitate the question about the DOT, because it's already a granted approval. And the construction of that road is supposed to take place on the part of the developer before they pursue, number one. And number two, if they're not building, and in these difficult times, I hope that they are allowed to fulfill the fruition of their approval, I would also question whether any of the quarrying that's going on now is for additional building. Because I don't know that that is the case.
I don't think it has to be for additional building, but they could say it's like clearing.
But they could be clearing
Yeah, but you know.
for additional building.
Yeah, additional building.
And that's where it becomes touchy.
Yeah, well,
And these people have gone so far as to document dates, times, number of trucks a day, color of truck, the license plate, and therefore I think that we'll have an additional amount of information
Good.
we'll be able to deal with.
So we can tell if they're actually, our trucks working on the corridor, or
Without
there's somebody
question.
coming up, putting a tree in for something.
Without question.
Yeah.
On top of that, they've been requesting this meeting for a while. Why don't they put in the town officials, I don't know.
I don't-
Since this is a totally village issue.
Totally is.
However, I think that we should set up answers to these questions for a workshop so that they can come in and be able to discuss with us their concerns, because they have been tracking this for many months.
Yeah, why don't we set them up for the next,
That sounds like the right thing to do.
okay.
And tomorrow you'll ask David the question.
I'll ask
like
David the
207 and
question.
all that, okay.
Yeah.
I wrote it down, not that I remember it, but I wrote it down, so.
Got it, man?
So we'll ask them those questions.
Yeah.
207 on the quarry permit.
On top of that, they have this mailbox problem.
That's
Well,
the
before we move on to that, I just wanted
Yeah.
to jump in and say, this is a very detailed, well thought out letter.
We have more.
This isn't the first time that they brought this issue up.
Correct.
Obviously, I appreciate that there are legal issues involved, as to what the definition, I imagine, of quarrying is, and what the DOT's rights are as far as telling them whether they can access the road or not. Those are legal issues, which obviously John is going to talk to our attorney and to our engineer about. But, if I were living there, this would upset me.
No question.
Yeah.
And if there are legal avenues that this village can pursue, I'm 100% behind us doing whatever we can.
Good.
Hey, Marcia, do you have a chance to talk to Joe, or?
Oh, I'm
No, I'm asking, that's why I'm
Joe?
questioning.
Joe was spoken to by the engineers several months ago.
Okay.
His position at that point was that they were only clearing. The question arises as to, if there's no construction going on, why are the level of quarrying going on? And we have documentation from a very assiduous group of people who are trying to make their case, who have been tracking exactly how many trucks are going in and out a day, which far exceeds anyone who is building a house. And since there's no construction going on, it certainly begs the question. So I think they absolutely deserve to be heard.
Yeah, no, I'll go, I live across the street from Joe.
I know you
I'll
do.
go talk to Joe this weekend also, and see what sort of compromise he might be able to make on this situation.
Like
and see
stop.
if there's something, or at least another way that he doesn't have to use, at the very least, another way that he doesn't have to use Murray. If he could
Yeah, I would
at least if he could outlet
Well, I think it's
directly
going
onto,
to-
directly onto Platinum or something for the moment until we can.
We'll come back to the question of 207. And
Yeah.
207 as an access was the approved access for the original approval for the planning board. They were only supposed to be able to use Murray Avenue Extension for emergency vehicles.
Oh, yeah, no, and I'm saying 207 is definitely an option we gotta
Yeah.
look at, no question about it. I'm also just wondering if at least in the interim, is there a way he can cut a path that he can at least just go straight over to Cahill instead of going on Murray
But why is he doing it?
and then go down Cahill?
Why is he doing it?
Different, too many questions involved there, but
Yeah.
let's say arguably, if he does have the right to be doing it, then how can we divert it away from Murray?
I think that at this point, the people who have been tracking this are looking for our ear. Everything, they are documented enough to be deserving of the next
Absolutely.
work session.
It would just seem, to follow what you're saying, that it would just seem, if we could talk to him in the interim, to take that, was it Cahill, is that what that road's called?
You see they drew that green line that kind
Yeah.
of extends over to Cahill?
That's kind of
there?
behind the houses,
It's not, it wouldn't be going on Murray then, obviously.
and there's only the back of the houses there.
No, there's no houses on that side of Murray. Where he's got they have the green line.
I see the green line.
here. Yeah, there's no houses over
Yes,
here.
There's no
on this
houses
side.
there, even?
Just on the other side of Murray there
Be
is.
less of a disturbance.
Be less of a disturbance.
Less of a disturbance.
This slopes off significantly here.
that if he cut it the right way, they wouldn't even see the trucks.
You're putting aside the issue of whether he has the
Yeah, there's
right
a big
to
Correct.
doing
I
it.
understand.
Hey,
what
yeah,
you're
we're gonna
saying.
do something in the meantime.
You know, at least if we could.
That's a better intersection to come out on Scotchtown.
Yeah, but at least in the short term. it
Short term,
mitigates the nuisance factor for them.
Yeah, that's, because you don't have the school buses and everything else
Yeah,
coming
sure.
up there.
Yep.
It would just make more sense. Okay, does anybody else want to comment on that? We'll schedule that for the meeting, and I'll find out the answers from David tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Okay, we have another letter from, more constituents. We bring this matter to your attention. In winter 208, a village snowplow knocked down the street lamp post in front of our house, which stands across our driveway, just missing a front home. The next winter, 2009, we witnessed another village of Goshen snowplow knock over our mailbox, and our neighbor's mailbox. Our post damaged and need to be replaced. For that, we personally absorbed the cost. Once again, December 26th, village snowplow hit our mailbox, causing major damage to the post, and had to be replaced. This is the third occurrence. We're ready to seek reimbursement, the amount of $86.48 for the replacement of the mailbox post. Attached to the photos of cracked mailbox, Lowe's receipt replaces. Look forward to your reply. Reimbursement and resolution to our problem. We are not only concerned about the monetary cost of inconvenience to our family, potential safety hazard as well. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. Manuel and Carolyn D. Castro, 31 Maiden Lane, Hunts Estates. Now, Mal, you spoke to Mike about this?
Well, I spoke to Michael about it, and also you'll see the memo that he gave us as far as the postal. He has a set of regulations here from the post office as to how your mailbox should be set up in order to avoid this kind of situation. We've had these kind of claims in the past, and I know the first time I was on the board, former village attorney always used to say that we should deny these claims. You know, people should file a notice of claim, which is something that I deal with every day because I represent an awful lot of municipalities around the Hudson Valley. You know, as a public official, I don't feel we should do that. We did knock down their mailbox. You know, Michael acknowledged that, and I think we should reimburse them for the mailbox. I would say, and probably kind of instructive and maybe somewhat amusing, that as the DPW commissioner, the village trucks have knocked my mailbox down on 2 different occasions over the years. And if what Michael has to say is, I have no idea about Mr. and Mrs. DeCastro and how close their mailbox is to the street, but after they knocked my mailbox down a couple of times, I realized it was probably a little too close to the road, and when I put it back up, I dug a new hole and I put it in a place where it hasn't been hit since. So in the short term, I think we should reimburse them for their mailbox. I would just follow up on Michael's instructions that, you know, people when they're placing their mailboxes should be cognizant of how close it is to the roadway. And perhaps if it's too close to the roadway, it's going to get knocked down. In a big storm like that, that's what happened when mine was knocked down. The snow gets plowed up so high that you can't even see the mailbox if it's too close to the road. So that's my take on it.
I agree with you. If it happened, last year with the mailbox, we should probably make it a habit where if it does happen, and the first time to the negligence law, it's not in the village, we should at least supply this information. So at least the first time it happens, they're aware. Maybe we did at the time, I don't know. But I mean, this seems like good information to get out, hopefully, even by us discussing it now. But if the problem is that the mailbox doesn't fit the specs of the plow and things like that, we should make that readily available. But I would agree with you, Mel.
No, I would agree we should reimburse them, and also maybe just as, for their convenience, maybe I don't know if they put the mailbox back or not yet, or maybe we could kind of give them an assist and go out and just look at it again and let them know if maybe they put it too close again this time. If they placed it in the same spot, then it may happen again.
You getting this? The two lawyers say we should reimburse them.
However, the non-lawyer
Okay.
is here to say that we run into this difficulty in certain areas of the village, usually on the outskirts where people have mailboxes that are on the streets. and we run into a problem, I appreciate the fact that this has happened to them 3 times. And I can concur with my fellow board members. However, I would, before our check goes out to these people, tell them that obviously, after 3 years of snowstorms, this is not a good place to put your mailbox. I concur with what Mel is saying, move it in. And I think Michael's response is appropriate when he says that this is, the post must be adequate and it must be placed to conform with state laws and highway regulations, which would keep it out of the fray.
I already spoke.
I was just going down and
Wasn't that memorable?
Sit debate, man.
Hey,
Lost all track of
me too.
time. All right, again, I'll talk to David to see about, I'm sure we're all in agreement on this, but to make sure that we can do it without setting a precedent. But maybe we can do it like the old gym rules. After the 3rd one, you get a free. You get a free one, you get the free beer, you get the free posters. But, yeah, I don't know. Of course, Mike's going to come forward with just the regulations because Mike's been there
It's appropriate.
40 years, and I'm sure he's seen a lot of these. So I'll check with David just to make sure that if we have how to do it correctly, where we can maybe not put ourselves in a precedent setting. But it does, you got to feel for these people. It happened a couple of times.
Move the mailbox back.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate, and you got a million things to do, and there's a blizzard going on, and the snowplow driver has a million things to concentrate to, and if he doesn't see the mailbox, good chance he's going to hit it. He's trying to make sure, because on the other hand, if he doesn't plow the road correctly,
Then we're in
Mike's
real
gonna,
trouble.
then we're going to be in trouble, and Mike's going to be on his case. So we want to try and come up with a happy.
Well, yeah, I would just echo that, John. I mean, obviously, this was a major storm.
Yeah,
A good deal of the snow plowing was done at night. It's dark,
That's
they're,
right.
they're traveling along in the dark, and it was pretty windy conditions, and so it, does behoove people to make sure that their mailboxes sit back a little bit from the road. I know, I see the people once in a while, somebody's car is going to get hit someday, because I ride around the village and I see these people who have an upslope driveway like this, who park their car at the top of the driveway, so that they can get out of the driveway. There's a couple people in my neighborhood that do that. Thank goodness we haven't hit anybody's car yet, but you got the nose of your car at the top of your driveway so that you don't have to go shooting up that driveway. But plow hits it, it's not going to be a good result.
Well, they always plow right after I finish shoveling the driveway.
Oh, usually, yeah.
So they can put that heavy snow down.
Hey, John,
No,
same thing happens to all of us.
but they are clearing the street, and that's their job, They're not trying to clear our driveway, they're trying to clear the street. And they do a real good. Once in a while, they're gonna hit mailboxes. So, again, we'll talk to David tomorrow. Yeah, we do it, we're not setting any precedent or see what we can do.
Sure.
Okay, that's all we had on the agenda. Do you have anything, Kyle?
Yeah, I have 2 things actually.
Sure.
In the last joint recreation meeting, the Commissioner Kate Schmidt brought up what I thought was a good point, and she wanted me to share it with the rest of the board. There's not a lot of future building going to be taking place in the village, but there will be some, and the village gets certain parkland fees for new building. And Kate recommended that we consider increasing our parkland fees. So when there's new building that takes place, the village gets a little more funding towards that, because there's not a whole lot that's going to happen. Obviously in the town, you have a whole lot of proposed lots that are going to come in, and they have a lot of parkland fees coming in. We're not as fortunate. So she suggested that we might consider raising that in the future so that we do get that extra revenue coming in.
We haven't done that in a while.
No,
Yeah, it might be a good.
They have not been
At least
raised.
to look into it.
right. Joint Rex budget was, they're not funded as much as they have been in the past, so it'd be nice to have
That's
some.
diplomatic.
So it'd be nice to get some extra revenue coming in to help them with the parks, because with, increased activity every year on year, there's more, soccer players, baseball players, etc. Now football, lacrosse is growing, it'd be nice to,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
so just something we could consider. I mentioned it now, I can do some more diligence on it, bring it back to the board.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna be opposing that. So that's good.
Maybe at the next work session, we can talk more about it.
Absolutely, we can
Okay.
find out what they are now, what we should increase them to, and, with the bathroom over there at Salicia, maybe we'll get more use over there, and that would,
Sure.
could help us down the road.
And Joint Rec's also being creative and talking about potentially raising the fees for using the parks, things like that. I mean, in the past, they charge, I think it's like $100 to use one of the fields all day. But if you have 200 people using the fields, that, you know, there's a lot of garbage left, the bathroom cleanup and all that, and that
Yeah.
falls in the Joint Rec's 2 employees. So they're looking at different ways to bring in more revenue by potentially raising those rates and looking at different charges for out-of-town groups
Especially
and
out of
stuff.
town groups, yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that specifically should be addressed because we've run into, I mean, it takes the cops going out there,
Yeah.
it takes the, pickup, it's,
Right.
yeah.
It is, yeah, that's,
Which, reminds me, go ahead.
No, and that's all I have for that, but if maybe we could put that up for the next work session, I'll do
yeah,
some diligence by then and we
Sounds
can
good.
discuss it more. Just because I know it's on a lot of people's minds, we just wanted to comment on the whole article today. Just in passing, our attorney's not here, but just to be clear, because I know the public's interested to know, the contractor that we're working with, CGNSD, is in discussion with some unions. Outside of that, the village doesn't really have a role. He's our contractor. We've gotten all the OKs from different governmental agencies, and that's all I want to say. I don't think anything else needs to be said without our attorney, but just, I didn't want the night to go on without us at least saying something about it.
very
So,
good.
and that's
Well said.
that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Ed?
Yep, I'm happy to help you New Year to everybody.
Thank you, you too. Wow,
I have nothing other than same thing. Wish everybody a good 2011.
2011, right, wow.
I know,
I'll see you.
what can I tell you? I know, a healthy one, a healthy one. Number one, I wanted us to make sure that we reached out to the county regarding the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Oh,
I
okay.
love the St. Patrick's Day Parade. I love the fact that it's in Goshen, but since it is a county-wide festivity, I think we should pursue them trying to come up with a cost on a county level to help us, rather than it all falling on the village taxpayers, help us with our overtime, help us with our garbage pickup overtime, help us to cover the cost. It's a county parade. That, and also
Yeah.
to tell you that the tree crew has been pulled off for 2 weeks. That we'll have them back in 2 weeks, that we have a list already vested for trees that have to come down, and that unfortunately for this year, much of our response on the tree committee level has had to be in dealing with trees that came down in the horrible storms this year, and in maintaining the very difficult loss of trees because they were all planted at a particular time. Thank you.
Let's see,
Yeah,
just to follow up on what you said about the parade,
yeah.
maybe we could also, if not monetary, just in-kind services, sheriffs, county DPW.
I think that should be
stuff like that.
Whatever the way we reach out, it needs to be, and in truth, in-kind would work as well, but for DPW, we ended up picking up the
Okay,
garbage.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we need the dollars. We need the dollars because it takes our crews so much extra time. I love the parade, that's not the question, but it's a countywide parade and they should chip in.
Right, village residents shouldn't shoulder all the burden.
That's exactly right.
I agree with
We
that.
love having these parades,
Right.
but the county should definitely be stepping up to the plate.
No, that's a great point.
Mr. Diane.
I'll speak to him. I'll try
Good.
going through Mr. O'Donnell.
And I also have, just so it's on the record here, there's a voucher here for land that we own over by the CRV well, which is a tax bill from the town of Wallkill. Why should we receive a tax bill? I don't know, so I'm not signing it.
No,
I
no.
think we should pursue
Look
it.
into that.
We should not be receiving that. Yeah, sure. It's not a tremendous amount, but it shouldn't be
Is
happening.
it a land tax?
Yeah, so,
Well, no, I mean, it's
No, it
property
looks
tax
like a
versus
regular-
land tax.
regular tax bill, so we should question it at any rate.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
I'm sure it's just a mistake.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't sign it.
Now,
We'll do it again.
don't
We're getting
question
good at
it.
it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Wish everybody a happy new year. Anything further? Thank you very much.
Oh, no, we don't, we're not even,
Yes, it works.
okay. This is a, signed by Joan for water fund, general fund, water administration.
Hey, nice meeting you. Come on.
I'd be happy to
I don't
give you
like-
these.
Oh, April likes to come on real slow.
Justin, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, there was some reorganization meeting probably over already, just started the seventh session.
At first afraid, I turned away, so in love with you. Tipped my head and filled my cup, still my heart required you. Build my life with beauty rare, still in love with you. Tried to say that I don't care, still my heart requires you. Running home, I melt into